this is another example of the kind of thing that we're doing with part of speech tagging. This here is a list of, it's a bar chart of the combinations of parts of speech in Nabokov's text. It's not, I'll explain what labels are. I think I've got labeled there. Here we have Lalita in English, and we see that on the parts of speech, this is trigrams, so three combinations of three parts of speech together. The terminal noun preposition is top, adjective noun preposition is second, and so on and so forth. This here is the corpus in English. So we're still working on analyzing this data in a greater detail, but you can see it just from the first approximation, just the way the graph is looking. This is Russian, there is in Russian, and the corpus in Russian. You see how the corpus looks? So there's a smooth, quite a smooth curve going down. Same in Lalita. So you see that in Russian, they're not the same combinations, but the proportions of the frequent combinations sort of declines in a steady way. In English, this is not the case. In the corpus, you have one thing which really sticks out, and the terminal noun preposition here. And the same thing for Lalita. But in Lalita, you see two things again. So something is going on here. We're not quite sure yet what exactly, but we see that in Russian, the pattern follows approximately the curve of the corpus. In English, it does also follow the curve of the corpus, but two things are prominent as opposed to one. However, so something's going on here in the way. So you see that Nabokov writes in English somehow in a way that's close to the corpus, but there is a difference. There are two things that are prominent. And is it the case for his other English novels? Actually, yes, it is. So you see corpus in English and three other novels. Not the same two prominent combinations, but two of them in all three cases. This is Ben Sinister, this is Hurricanes, and Queen. Again, two things are prominent as opposed to one. And again, how about translations into English? Well, here's the text. This is the Защита Лужина, defense in English. In the English translation. And you see that actually there's only one thing that's prominent. So actually, you can see, again, this is, as I said, it's work in progress, but you can see from even the first graph that in the text translated from the Russian into English, the pattern is actually the same in the corpus. Whereas in the text he wrote in English directly, there are two prominent combinations. And another example, vocabulary. So looking at Nabokov's vocabulary in English and in Russian, and we're comparing just to, here it's, we're comparing to the corpus, sorry, actually no, here I wasn't comparing to corpus. We're comparing to other writers writing in English. Actually, I should include the corpus. And you see that this is a measure of exoticism. So this is the number, the proportion of words that are, okay, that's why the corpus isn't there, that are in Nabokov's books, but are not in the corpus. So this is just an intuitive measure of exotic vocabulary. And we see that what's important here is this line here, 1. So the number of words that occur only once, proportion of words that only occur once in the Nabokov's books, which also do not occur in the corpus. And it's up here at 16. Compared to other writers, Virginia Woolf is here, 14. Great Gatsby, Fitzgerald is here, Chesterton is down here, and also Brodsky's English prose to compare. So you see that it has many more words, exotic words, than other writers. In Russian, this is not the case. Nabokov is a bit higher up than other writers. Here, the number of words here is very high because when I made this graph, we didn't yet have the level support. So, exotic word here in Russian is also a different case of the word, also counted. However, you can see that Nabokov's, which is why there are so many exotic words, 7%, but it's very comparable to Dr. Zhivago, to Vasily Margarita, and to Brodsky, so Brodsky's essays in Russian. So you see that In Russian, his result doesn't stand out. In English, it does.